Hi there. Welcome back. I told you I'd be back. So we have some work to do here in experiment number 2. The more I think about it, the only thing I wish I had done differently is I wish I had maybe put glassine over top of that little robin. But you know what? It is what it is. I still love it anyways. I think the frame gives lots of nice texture. And same with the bird life in November. I put it onto cardstock and it sticks up, and the book plate sticks up, and there's a bit of texture here and knobbiness here. I love that there's dimension. Even the collaging is a little thick, so if you run your fingers over it, you can feel that this is a genuine collage and it's not like a digital collage. So it's still giving me thrills. Now, I'm unhappy, but it's okay because I had plans anyways with the end papers. I measured wrong. And if this was going to go in my shop, I would be ripping these end papers out and redoing them. But I don't need to because, see how they're not wide enough. I did one of my number one things that I say don't do. I trimmed too soon. I always say cut extra wide and then trim back just before you're going to lay it down. And I went ahead and trimmed, and it was not wide enough, but it doesn't matter because I'm putting in a tuck spot. So I wanted I wanted a leaf over top of this first page, and I loved this. It's out of that great big book that I use mostly as my stamping paper or inking paper. This book from The Complete Works of Shakespeare, it's out of that book, but I liked it. So it's a letter. Shakespeare dedicated some of the book to the Earl of Southampton and Baron of Tichfield. And anyhow, it says your honors in all duty, William Shakespeare. So every once in a while I come across an illustration on one of the pages as I rip them off, because the book block is down on the floor beside me, and honest to goodness, I'm not exaggerating. It's at least 4 inches thick, might be 5. The book is huge, and you can see it's big. So I'm just working my way through it. The paper's very thin, so that's good and bad, but it's getting used. Again, I think it was going to be pitched. Shakespeare's just online, and young people read online now. And this book is so huge. If I'm going to read Romeo and Juliet, I'd rather just hold a small book of Romeo and Juliet rather than open this massive book. It's huge. Anyhow, the Homer, I don't know if any of you noticed, I glued Homer in with the carefully inked side down, and I re-inked Homer. So just in case any of you were yelling at your screen yesterday saying, "You're gluing down the wrong side." Yeah, I did. Talk too much once again. Really love this with the fabric holding the little Beatrix Potter illustrations together. These little books tie-dye so nicely, and I can get them so cheap at my thrift store in town. They're really inexpensive there. Anyhow, so we're going to put in both end papers are the wrong size because, of course, I cut them both the same size. They're wallpaper. I have a big roll of it, and I have actually way too much of it. So hold on. dropped some on the floor. I think that was my test piece. I have a big roll of it. I have way too much of it. I'm going to cut some off, cut it into more reasonable sizes, flatten them out, and either redonate the rest of the roll, or if there's a junk journaler in town that would like it, they can. It's theirs. It has a bit of a coating on it. I've mentioned that before. I know, but I want to tell you what I did here in case I didn't mention it, because it was cutting room floor week here in my studio. I didn't like the shine, so I gently sandpapered it, and then I inked the whole thing, and I'm happy with it now. So I did that to both. And this side, again, because I cut it too small, I moved it over because I'm going to put tuck spot on this side. So let's get started. And this is, let's see if I can come back. Oh, that only goes, all right, hold on. I'm going to lift up. I'm going to pause and lift up. There, now you can see more of my messy desk. No, I haven't laid down my new craft mat yet, but I'm just going to finish using up what's left of this. This is just shipping paper that I taped to the top of my desk. It's actually come in handy. Sometimes I'm writing down measurements and making notes to myself and testing stamps, and it's actually handy. I found this pen at Staples. It's a Uniball, and it's called, if you're interested, it's called Black Red, or Red Black. Black Red. The color is glorious. I love red, but sometimes red is just it's too candy red for me. And this is just, it's not brown, it's definitely red, but it's, I love it, and it feels nice to write with. Oh, I've got to go get more. It feels like the kind of thing that they would say, yeah, you know what? These aren't selling so good. Let's stop making them. That's what's going to happen. I love this pen so much. Anyhow, maybe I shouldn't have told any of you. You're all going to go out and buy my pens now. You got to share the love, don't we? All right, so I have these. I have several packets of these, so I'm very happy. They go obviously in the drawers, and the steel bar goes through here to hold the dividers in place, and of course C, because the book is mine. It's going to, I've got to decide how wide I want this tuck spot to be. I thought I was going to do a full gusset on it, and I'm not. But I'm still going to do a little trick that lets you put more paper in it. And I think that you will find it interesting if you don't already know it. So I think I already have my pencil marks in place here. Nope. I want them to marry up with the end papers. So I was going to use this in another book, I can tell, because that one is different. I think I want this to be, it's going to have to come to about there. I don't want it too wide because I don't want I don't like when you have a pocket that's so deep, if you put something in it, you can't see what you put inside the pocket. And you have to feel around inside and go, did I put that note inside this pocket? And you're feeling around, especially if it doesn't have a window. So, there we go. I am going to use this because the blade is due for changing. And so I might as well just go back and forth several times. But feel free to use a blade. At home. Nope, you really are thick enough. Oh, did I feel it go? It did. Okay, excellent. Now, let's move this. There we go. I'm going to keep that because part of that is going to come in handy. I'm going to cut this a little bit bigger just in case. I'd rather trim again than do what happened with the end papers. So I'm giving myself a little room in case I mess up. Okay, so we'll worry about this side when we get to it, but I have a cool idea for it that I'm going, crossing my fingers will work. So let's see here. So that's going to come in a bit, and yeah, I am. Let me come in a bit. There we go. So I want it to marry up with the end of the paper, and so I actually want to be just barely on this side of that pencil line. So on the inside, I'm going to come back. Just barely. Things are crashing over here. Alright, I'm just making sure that the sides are all down. And yes, I will be inking. Making sure that all the pencil marks are gone. Something got spilled on it. Hi, sweetheart. Did Daddy send you up here to be with me? Hello. Oh, I've got a little visitor. Hold on. I can go put the gate up. Okay. She's back downstairs with Daddy. We have a baby gate, and it didn't get closed, and she came up to say hi. All right, potting soil. So I've got to tell you, I love all the crafty people that are animal lovers, because on Instagram I posted a picture of the footer of this book, and I just simply said swipe for a smiley picture of Kirby. Well, all the lovely comments that said, "Oh, Kirby's so cute," all the compliments were Kirby. And And I gotta admit, that's what I would do too. Cute little dog. Yeah. She is doing really, really great. We do have one more test this week on Thursday that we're very nervous about. So we're doing our best to put it out of our head. We're not the only ones that have ever had to deal with such things with pets or with human loved ones. They have the 2 nodules that they found on her liver. That could be one of 3 things. So Thursday they will be testing her, and they're going to do another ultrasound, and they're going to do more blood work to test her liver enzyme level. We're hoping that the first ultrasound will just show that they have been reabsorbed and that they were simply little pockets of infection. That's our hope. Because they couldn't be determined just visually. And that her blood work shows the liver enzymes are normal, within normal range, which they were all aiming to. They were doing daily blood work, and every single time they did her blood work, her liver enzymes were going down, 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 back to normal, and everything else was normal again. So that's what we're crossing our fingers for. But the other 2 things could be benign cyst, which we wouldn't mind either. And then, of course, the third thing, we know what that could be. It's highly unusual for it to be cancer, especially in a dog her age. Usually, if it's cancer on her liver, they say that really doesn't usually start showing up in dogs until 8 years old and older. So it would be highly, highly unusual for it to be that for Kirby. There we go. So let's come down and I'll show you. So see how that is going to be a little pocket. But if it's too close, and the greens are just perfect with these little leaves. I was tempted to sew it, but I just like it the way it is. I think sewing it would be gilding the lily. Yeah, I forget what I was saying. So if it were cancer, they did say very, very rare in a 1-year-old dog to have cancer of the liver. So we are counting on that being our answer. And we are hoping that they actually don't even have to do the needle aspiration at all. So, but we won't know till Thursday. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten this a bit. This is one of the offcuts from here, but I don't want it full length. So I'm going to take maybe about 1/2 inch off. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to just, I don't know, this part doesn't have to be, doesn't take any math. Just cut yourself a tiny little strip. Let's come down. Oh, wrong way. I guess that's close enough. And get 2 of these. So 1. Two. So our Fortunately, our appointment is at 9 in the morning on Thursday, so we'll at least get it over with. And hopefully, well, fingers crossed for good news, right? Everything else about her is she's back to her old, wacky, energetic, happy, healthy self from what happened to her that night. And so we're just counting on it was a fluke. She's fine. And we're going to have hopefully many, 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 many more years of this little happy clown in our life. Oh, well, that one stuck to me, so stuck my thumb in it. So here's where, let me turn this over so this is the C side. I'm going to stick this up here. I want to leave a little bit of a lip just so that it's not viewable from up top. So little lip here, little lip here. I'm going to wipe that glue away. It is paper to paper, so art glitter glue is fine. And this one, same thing over on the other side. Come on. Thank you. So, just a little bit of, leave yourself a little hangover edge. There we go. I can see here I want to use my sponge and go along this edge with my sponge. Because it will be viewable somewhat from the sides. And this is just going to buy us a little bit more space for a few more papers, but still hold them snugly, but still not be as bulky as if I put a full gusset in it. So what that does is that's going to lift the opening a little bit. So we're going to now glue here, here, and here. And think about it. This side is now going to glue flat down onto this paper here, because this plastic is, I'm just thinking, I want to use my 3-in-1. I don't want to use, I was almost going to use art glitter glue, and I don't trust art glitter glue with the coating on that wallpaper. So I'm going to use 3-in-1 just to be on the safe side. And then I'm going to get some little clamps handy and ready. Where are they? I gotta find them. Hold on. Okay. My favorite chip clips because they're rounded and they don't leave any marks. I used to have to use cloths to make sure that clamps didn't leave marks. But you can get these chip clips at Dollarama in the food prep utensil wall, on that wall. And they're fantastic because you don't have to use any cloth as buffer. Okay, so I'm going to use 3-in-1 simply because I don't trust gluing paper to coated wallpaper. Dun 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 dun. Anyhow, yeah, she is back to her old self. Great appetite, playful, happy, running, going for happy walks. She made a new friend the other day, a Chihuahua named Sheldon. Sheldon was very much a gentleman. Nice little dog. I hope we run into Sheldon again. I'm hoping maybe Sheldon lives in the neighborhood. So maybe they could be friends and have some little play dates in each other's yards or something. Although they say dogs don't need that. I think they do. I've heard some dog trainers say they don't need play dates. And most vets don't like dog parks. They say that's just, you're asking for trouble. So dog parks make me nervous, so I just don't deal with them anyhow. I'm getting all kinds of mucky mess on there, but we want the mucky mess, right? So 3-in-1 gives you time to slide back and forth. Make sure you're happy with where it is. Make sure that still closes. Yes, it does. That looks better. So here's my clamps going on. I can't clamp there, so all I can do is just really push and hope. Certainly the papers aren't going to go any further, so I can't imagine that it's not going to glue down. I really do think most of that glue is on paper. It's being stuck to this and not this, but just in case, because I don't have x-ray vision, I think that's going to look terrific. And because we've given that little bit of lift, being able to put papers in, we'll be able to fit a bit more in there, but because it pinches right down flat on this side, they'll stay in better. They won't want to just, I hate when you open your book and if you've got a tuck spot in there, everything comes flying out of the tuck spot because it's not snug. So there's what I do whenever I can. I wonder what that was. Probably someone's lunch. I always blame it on somebody's lunch. So now this side, I really love this, where the post from the file folder, there would be a post. I don't know if they still make them or not in the metal freestanding file holders. There would be a rod that would go right through to hold these in so they couldn't be lifted out. And what I'd like to do is hang it over the edge so that I could maybe dangle dangle a charm or some ribbon, or I don't know. Is this too? That was quite a task trying to use my cutting board the last time. You were probably all yelling at your screen. On the other hand, to get it straight, I might take it over and use my big cutting board. I've got a big one from Staples across the room. I'm going to pause. I'm going to use my big Staples cutting board and I will be back. Okay, it's a little curvy here. I want to use a bone folder and see if I can smooth that out before I start gluing it into the book. I don't know, that's just the way it was. So, and then I've got to decide where I want that, so that I can decide what ends and how much are going to get trimmed off. So if it's closed, I think I want it up high. You're not going to be able to notice it that much. But it will stick out that much. I'm okay with that. That's fun. I like it there. Okay. So, and I want it flush. Let me tell you what I want. I don't want to see the edge of the book through the hole. So I want it there. That's where I want it. So I want that there. And I want that there. Now I'm going to get these out of the way so I don't mistake them. So that I can use these ends. I guess it doesn't matter. These ones would already be the right size because they're a little smaller. Yeah, it doesn't matter. This is such a nice board. This board, I'm telling you, is fantastic for making faux cabinet cards because it's already really nice and thick, and it's also really nice for when I'm making my 2 Nanas bookmarks. It's really great for that. All right, let's get this trimmed, and then we're gonna ink. Ruler. I guess I should be using my new board. Now this side I'm not going to panic too much about. I have so many of these that I would have lots of these, but I only had one letter C. So I had to be careful with the other side and make sure I got it right. But this side, I have a little more relaxation. Let's do this right there. And hope I get it right. There's a glare coming in from my window right now because of the time of day it is. Cross your fingers. Okay. It's just so much easier to use the knife and ruler on smaller pieces than when it was big. Okay, so if that goes there, see, oh crap. I cut it too short. Cut it too short. Look at that. Look at that. If I'm going to marry it up with the paper. Alright, let me get another one. We'll do this again. Hold on. Okay, I just went and got it done because my board's on the table over there. I chose the letter U. I figured I looked over all the alphabet letters and tried to decide which one I'd be less likely to use more often. And I think the letter U, if I'm thinking of matching up. So now I know I need it to be a little bit, so that's the old one that I didn't do right. I want it up here. So if that end's correct, if I marry this end up, then at least I know that's correct. Right? Oh, please let me get this one correct. Alright, that way at least by using a pencil I got it correct. And then down here I'm going to err on the side of slightly too much and go there. Alright. This is not lost. There will be a journal that this fits in. It will get saved. And it will get used. Even if I just use that part, which I've used before. That's cool. Alright. So, let's do this. Now I did a full pencil line, so I know where to cut for this. Oh, I hope I'm doing this right. I hope you're not all yelling at your screens right now saying, Catherine, wait, don't cut. Because that looks crooked. Well, we'll see. I'm going to check it before I cut the other side. I think I'm going to need to round these corners. Oh, I'm going to have to round these corners a little bit. Alright, there. It could be that my paper is slightly crooked, so let's see. Yeah. We're going to go with that. And maybe it's the paper. Maybe I did everything slightly crooked. I wouldn't put that past me. I told you. And don't get me going on the math thing. I wonder if I've gone past 30 minutes and my phone has already turned off on me. No, this one's going to be good. Yay! Alright, that's going to be good. But I do think I am going to have to bring it back a bit. Because the sticking out is too pointy on the ends of the books. So I am going to have to look at that through there. That's okay. It's better than looking at the end of the end paper down there. All right, I'm going to ink this. I'm going to pause and ink it. Okay, so I inked it. I got the little lifting tabs already put in place. I almost put it in the wrong spot because I forgot which side would be going flush against the book and what side needed to have a little bit of lift. So let's do it. And again, using 3-in-1 because I'm gluing against that wallpaper that I don't trust. Okay. Let's see. There. That looks nice. And that I will just have to accept for what it is. I'm going to use these down here because they will have done their job up here. So now this is a nice little tuck spot. Lots of room, but it's snug. Do you see what I mean? How just giving that little bit of lift will allow it to hold papers more easily without them sliding out too easily. And then I also have that on this side, but I can dangle something off of here. There we go. There we go. So, and it still sticks out. Okay, you know what? That was meant to be. That looks cool. Well, it was stressful. We made it work. And I think this book, except for me running a little ribbon along here, we all know how to do that. I'll show you a picture later. I'll be collaging on both of these at some point, but I'm going to leave that for when I feel inspired. And otherwise, my little experiment number 2 is ready to just start using as my own little inspiration book. And I'm already inspired by it. So thanks for joining me. Let's go down in close and enjoy a little view of Experiment 2. Oh, let's move that. There we go. Looks lovely. Thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for putting up with all my oh no's and the stress and the tension. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye.